Hey y'all, thanks for vibing with
CeCe and
ChiChi, where we talk about all the hot topics. What's your vibe?
girl, my vibe is H2O.
Oh, H2O.
Girl, that's
Yeah.
it. Trying to stay hydrated. Girl, how are you feeling? What's your vibe like over there?
Yeah, I have a cup of coffee. What's this? 40 years looking back, looking forward, whatever this means. But I have a cup of
Mm.
coffee, espresso.
Okay, okay.
I don't know if I cooked this all the way though. Now that I look at it, I'm like, "Ooh, I don't know
We
if I
got
poured
it.
this all the way, but that's what I'm on.
Not cooking coffee.
Well, yeah, I put it on the stove. So I bought this new like espresso little maker thing. I don't know how to explain. My friend put me on it to keep me awake. And she said that
Mhm.
it's really potent coffee. So it's like a little kettle thing. It's not like it's like something little thing I put on my stove. It's like I put the espresso on the bottom and I put some water on the bottom. I twist it and it kind of like boils from the bottom and comes to the top and I just pour it down. It's really cool though.
It
And
sounds
it's really
very fancy. That sounds very high tech and fancy.
it's from Amazon, y'all. Y'all can go buy it. It's really
Nah,
cheap, but I don't think I really let it, do its thing. But
yeah.
cheers.
Percolate all the way to
I
get the
think
full
so.
coffee aroma.
I think I just kind of like rushed it, but it's okay. Cheers to
Cheers, girl.
keeping it
Yeah,
going, keeping
just
it
keeping
pure.
it going. I feel like it's just this energy of hustle right now.
Yeah.
And it's low key exhausting, but it also gives you something to be motivated about. Like, okay, I'm doing these things. I know we had a conversation earlier just about investing in your future self, essentially. Like, to
Yeah.
sum it up, we're investing in our future self. So, right now, yes, we're grinding. Yes, we have all these things we're trying to accomplish. We're putting in the long hours, working when we're tired, and all that stuff. So that then later on, the results will speak for themselves. So,
Yes,
girl,
girl.
get your coffee. I got my water. I love my Keurig machine though, like where you put the little coffee cups, the pods in there, and you just pour the water.
Yes.
That
That
Keurig
one,
machine.
that's an expensive one.
No,
I have
it's
to that before.
not,
I said that about $55, okay?
girl.
Five.
It was a gift, so I'm not really aware. It was a
There it
gift.
is. There you got it, Bob Squad.
Bye, bye. Whatever you got to do to keep the night oil burning. Apparently, shoots.
Yes, you gotta hustle. Shit, it's
I'm
no
telling
time. It's
you.
no time to waste. I mean, you sleep when you die. That's what my people tell me. It's like a whole mental thing. Sleep when
And
you die. Hustle, hustle, hustle. Education is power. Knowledge is power. You can't take my brain away from me. So I'm gonna keep it going because that's the only thing that I know that I can keep. So that's
that's
those
true.
kind of things.
That's true. And I know from a Vibe Squad perspective and just keeping it balanced as much as possible, we always advocate for finding that happy middle ground. Like sometimes you will have to work longer, but then when you're able to relax and do your self care, you can compensate for those things. So it's just like keeping that natural flow of, okay, I'm getting this stuff done, I'm grinding, I'm spending longer hours doing these things that's going to pay off in the long run. You know what I'm saying? Because like you said, yes, you sleep when you are gone, when you are dead, but at the same time, rest is very important. So it's
Yeah.
like two things can very much be true at the same time. And you have to find a way to make that thing work, so that you can get it all done where you're not drained and unproductive at that point because you are so exhausted, you're so drained. And I know with like the working out, taking care of the family, or for me as a woman that didn't have any children yet, I still have like a lot of pots on the stove, as they say. And
Mm-hmm.
that can be time consuming because I have to think about my own health and my own vitality at the same time. So, whatever your situation is, Vibe Squad, just know you are not alone with the hustle. It is temporary, but you do have to find a way to take care of yourself too so you can be equipped to keep going. Like, that's the thing. You don't want to have burnout where you're like unable to do the things that you really want to do in the long run. So,
Yeah, that kind of brings me to like not to like get too much off track, but that kind of brings me to kind of some of the topics that I'm learning in school. So
mhm.
do some things that make you happy. Do some like work out. Do some things that are enjoyable. Why? Because those are those natural endorphins that's
Yeah.
going to stimulate your opioid receptors, and that's going to make you feel good. That's going to give you that energy you need. That's going to give you that comfort you need to go through these hard tasks. So
Mhm.
do something that makes you happy. For me, what makes me happy is making sure I don't fail. So I need to push harder, and so I can make sure I pass my test on Friday. And then on Friday, I'm gonna go ahead and balance it out because Friday I'm not gonna study. I'm gonna have a
Mhm.
good old time. I'm gonna hang out with my kids. I'm watching TV. I'm gonna do some things I need to do that makes me happy. So
Mhm.
work hard but play harder, and that's my motto.
Exactly. I love it. Cheers to that.
Cheers. That's some good vibes for you, baby.
I know, right? So let's get these topics running. So for our first topic, we want to talk about just why are people not nice to each other? Like why
Hmm.
are people so mean to each other for no reason? I get everybody has like a level of fed upness, okay? So people will irritate you. That goes without saying. People will do things inevitably, intentionally, unintentionally, that may irritate you. But why does it get to a point where people are just like blatantly mean to each other when you barely know this person or you know this person and you're choosing to be mean? What do you think that's about?
That's one of my pet peeves. I dislike that with a passion. I don't understand why people just rude or mean for no reason.
Right.
Be rude, be mean if there's a reason. If someone did something to you that made you react and now you have a little bit of attitude, fine, I get it. But there's places I've been, like if you go to like customer service, I'm like, hey, how you doing? And they're just like, yeah, just
Yeah.
like got the whole just demeanor is just negative. I
Mm.
don't understand it. I mean, but then I try to reason like maybe they're going through something. Maybe it's something else. But
Right.
I mean, honestly, if you clocked in, you need to get it together. Like, why are you sitting there with that face? Like, it
Mm.
just, I don't understand. I don't understand why people mean at all. I don't understand why people fake at all. It's just, I just don't
Mm.
understand it. Be your true self. You don't have to be besties with this person, but why do you choose to be mean? Because it takes more out of you to be mean than nice. Like, I
Ooh.
don't understand it.
I think some people are so set in their ways and just so used to like having negative energy around them and people coming at them a certain type of way. So they just feel like they have to give that to everybody they come across, which is very bizarre behavior. Like, I get that we don't need to take certain things personally. Honestly, we don't need to take anything anybody does personally because it shows more about that person's character, the way they respond, than it shows about you. Now, granted, if you're doing something to antagonize somebody, of course you're going to get whatever it may be. But if you're just coming in with the good energy at the customer service rack and that woman or man, person, whoever is there, and they supposed to be helping you, doing their job, and they choose to have like a bad attitude towards you, it could have been somebody before them that like upset them and now they're taking it out on you. But at the same time, each person is a different situation. So, with that being said, you need to handle each situation in an isolated perspective. Like, why am I treating you the way that I treated the person before me that was being rude and saying all these negative things when you didn't do anything to me? I feel like sometimes people don't give the right person the attention that they're due. You know what I'm saying? Like,
Mhm.
you're taking it out on somebody that it doesn't need to be taken out on. So instead of addressing the person that upset you or whatever it may be, you then turn around and like charge up somebody in the fast food line just because you were upset because of the conversation you had on the phone. It's like,
So
make up your
what
mind.
do you do to fix that? Because I mean, it sounds like it's so easy to do, but then I
Right.
just when you were speaking, I kind of just reflect on like relationships and like I know like when somebody break up with someone and a relationship is just not a good relationship. This is a terrible relationship, but then now it's kind of hard when we approached by other relationships to kind of see them as a different person. We kind of keep thinking
Mm.
about the old relationship, what this person did to me, and things like that. So I see that happen in relationship,
Yeah.
situations. So it's not easy. But I was like, what is the solution that you think would help with that?
Mm.
Like just ideas of brainstorming.
Chi Chi, that's a really good observation. And I think it really just starts with being mindful and being introspective. Because I can say I've had some relationships that didn't work. Obviously, I'm single,
Mhm.
so I've had past relationships that didn't work.
Same.
And right. You had your relationships before you got married
That's
that
right.
didn't work. And you
Hmm.
somehow find a way to still trust your spouse and believe them and put them in their correct perspective. So this new person that you're dealing with is not that last person. And it literally, I was just having a conversation with a really close friend of mine about this because
Hmm.
I'm like, girl, how do you allow yourself to accept a man that truly wants to be there for you in a way that you have never seen before? How do
Mm.
you allow yourself to accept that? It's hard. And she basically was just very transparent and says that it's a day by day thing, it's a daily thing. And if a person is going to really show up for you in a healthy manner, then it's going to be consistent. Granted, conflict is inevitable. You're always going to have conflict, but how do you manage those things? How do you
Right.
operate in those areas? Because everybody's trigger is not the same. So if you dealt with a past situation where it was not healthy, where they did mistreat you, that does not mean that everyone that you come across is going to be that same way. But you may not even be able to recognize somebody that's trying to treat you differently because you're so familiar with the chaos. So I
Yeah.
really think it just starts with being mindful, giving yourself some grace to know that you've dealt with some traumatic experiences essentially, but that does not mean you don't deserve to still be loved and appreciated and handled with respect and with care. So I
Wow.
think it starts with yourself first and like realizing like, okay, I dealt with this before, but that doesn't mean I'm going to have to continue to deal with it. That doesn't mean that's always going to be something that comes across my path. But what do
That
you
is
think?
so deep. Yes, I mean, you said it. That is so deep. It's just so much layers to that. We start off with just somebody being mean. Then we
Hmm.
got into like relationship and just like how you need to just take accountability, take it day by day,
Yeah.
and try your best to just see each person as an individual. But also, you mentioned about traumatic experience and things like that, and that's a real thing. When someone goes through something traumatic, even if it's not a relationship, and then you see this person just like engulf in that trauma, and then stay in a shell, and then just so many people around them that love them, and you just like get out of it, like get out of the shell,
Mm-hmm.
like get
Yeah.
out of it, get out of the shell. It just seems like it's so easy, but it's like I guess the solution is just take it day by day and just live and learn, and don't let that one traumatic experience, whether it being just that mean person that you encountered, or that terrible relationship, or that event that was just trauma, don't let it engulf you and be your entire life. Take it
Yeah.
day by day, accept it, learn from it, and keep going, because that's life. And
Mm-hmm.
God has a reason for every interaction,
Yes.
every event that occurs. So let it grow you, and don't let it make or break you, because then you
Mm-hmm.
lost the battle. There's multiple battles in a war. You can lose so
Mm-hmm.
many battles, but don't lose the war. And it
Mm-hmm.
starts, like you said, from you.
Mm-hmm.
You making the decision, and you sticking by it, and you saying that I am not going to let this be my life. I'm going to change this around. And when it's internal, there's nobody that can stop you.
You said a mouthful on that, and I think it's a lot to process and digest. Yes, we can sit here and lay out the way we feel that people should be able to process through traumatic events, but we don't minimize it. We're not trying to minimize anybody's experience because every traumatic event requires a different level of healing.
Yeah.
And depending on where you're at, resilience looks different and sometimes it shows up differently for different people, and it may come in different amounts of time. It may take somebody less time to get there, but we are firm believers of course in God, but
Yes.
also we believe in therapy.
Hmm.
And I started going back to therapy because I was like, let me just make sure that I am really actively trying to be accountable to my own healing, acknowledging my own shadows and things like that. And not to get too deep into that, But my therapist did say, like, the more you work on yourself, the more you equip yourself with resources. We talk about that with
Mhm.
friendships, healthy scenarios that you initiate yourself, the easier it is for you to heal yourself through things that come up. Because, like you said, life is going to always throw you different things. Like,
Yeah.
nobody's getting out of this thing easily. Like, it may look easy for some people, but they're still going to have their own. You never know what somebody's dealing with.
Yeah.
So, just to like get back on track with our topics, I'm gonna go
Yeah.
ahead and progress because this next one kind of like fits into what we're saying. And I don't fully know the full story. Like, I truly don't. I know you mentioned it to me about a situation that transpired in Houston, and a woman was approached by a man that was interested in her.
Mhm.
And supposedly she denied his advances, and he then retaliated by hitting her with a brick. Is that what happened from what you understand?
Yeah, that's what I understand. Of course, I don't know the full details. There's a lot of different things roaming around, but yeah, and I guess an event that happened in Houston, Texas. A young lady was approached by a man, and there was a lot of bystanders at this time, and he was
Hmm.
trying to pursue her, like you said, and ask for her number. Well, she said no. Now,
Mhm.
the question is a lot of different stories, whether she said no, 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 thank you, or no, and went off on him, trying to demeanor him. We don't
Demi.
know, but demean him, but we don't know. But the thing was a no. Well, I
Hmm.
guess he did not appreciate that, and he threw a brick at her. I believe I heard
Wow.
threw a brick on her, and it hit her face,
Oh
and
my God.
she's all on Instagram, all on social media. It's easy to find. Her face is just really big, and she's
Mhm.
just distraught. She's sad. She said there's a lot of men around that did
Mm-mm.
not help. They just observed this interaction, and from what I've digged up, it looks like maybe people knew who this person was.
Hmm.
So just kind of stayed back and just like not really do anything. But it looks
Wow.
like he was somebody that people knew. So it's not like somebody that they knew around the area.
Mm.
But they just didn't do anything. And then so there's a lot of conversation whether some men like, well, I don't want to get killed because nowadays people don't fight.
That's
People
true.
shoot. So they're like, oh, I don't want to, if this man can do this, he's probably capable of doing way more. So it's like, I don't know. What do you think that the men that was bystanding, what do you think they should have done? Should they have stepped in
Wow.
or,
Yeah. I mean, stuff like that usually kind of happens pretty quickly. I don't know the full scenario or what the circumstance was. A lot of times, I guess when people approach, sometimes it's more like quiet, it's more like a one-on-one direct. So you don't know the conversation that those two individuals had for it to get to that point. And, as the bystanders, as the men, they may not want it to cock block or whatever and be all in the mix. So I'm going to try to kind of hopefully understand that maybe they just really didn't know what was going on. And it happened so fast that they weren't able to make any major moves to protect this woman.
right?
And I have heard of situations where a woman was like, "No, I'm not interested," or turns a man down, and they go like haywire or whatever. Like they literally become unhinged. And that is not acceptable. It makes you think like, well, what could she have done differently? Well, did she charge him up? How did she approach that? Did she just say no, thank you? I mean, regardless of what happened and what she said, for him to retaliate on a woman knowing that she's weaker than him is completely heinous, unacceptable, and he needs to be prosecuted. Like there
Yeah,
is no right answer to that. Like, period. There is
yeah,
no justification. I feel like nobody can come in here and tell me, like, oh, well, he was right because of this. I don't care what she said. Honestly, I truly, truly do not say that it's okay, regardless of what she said. She didn't put her hands on him, she didn't hit him. And for him to be that upset and not care about her or protect her and feel that entitled and egocentric, like, what type of narcissistic? That's just, it's so
yeah.
sad.
That
It's
could have
ridiculous.
killed her.
Ugh,
He deserved to be in jail
right.
for
Un-
life. So like, don't make me a judge for life.
yeah.
Okay, you
Quick.
and
Bam.
throw a brick at me for life. Okay. Like you deserve every prosecution to come down on you because that's attempted murder. A brick? First of all,
Yeah.
where did you get the brick from? Like I'm just
That
thinking,
part.
like where did the brick come from? Like did you have it in your purse?
Oh,
Like this kind of man obviously is wearing a purse because that's not even a man. Period.
girl.
That man had the purse, little bag, little baggy, real
No.
name brand too. Like, and he took it out his purse and he threw it because
It
that's
was
that.
premeditated. It was definitely premeditated because for you, like you said, to go pick up, find the brick, search, have it with you.
Where they do that at? Houston, Texas, I guess.
Right. Bob Squad, if you know more about this story and we're missing something, because apparently, like, it must have been something left out that we didn't know about.
It ain't adding up. Okay,
It's not, the math is not math. And for this to even have taken place, why are we still doing these types of things?
and where
Why
the
are
brick
we
come
allowing
from? Tell
where
us
you,
where the brick came from. If anybody know where the brick came from, that he plucked the brick at the club. Tell us in the comments where did the brick come from? People carrying bricks?
girl, on a lighter note, let's get to this last topic because the case of the brick will
Mm,
not be resolved right now. Okay? That does not make any sense at
girl.
all. But for our last topic, we're on our health kick, and I've had a few people reaching out to me about like,
Okay.
what am I doing and things like that, which I'm like, perfect, because the last few days I ain't been doing a thing. But I do believe like once you get on your health kick, you're
Mm-hmm.
gonna automatically eat differently. You're
That's
going
right.
to drink differently. You're going to move differently. Because in the back of your mind, you're like, shoot, I just did all this work. I've been putting in this effort.
That
I
part.
don't want it to go to waste. Yeah, you don't want it to go to waste. So you're going to be more mindful. But when it comes to the fact of, okay, I'm doing all I can do, I've been working out, I've been eating right, but I'm just not seeing the results I want on the scale, regardless of the amount of time. Say it's been at least a week and you're not seeing any results. And then week two comes. How do you keep yourself motivated? That's what we want to talk about.
Yeah, I'm ready to listen. Tell me, because I struggle with this.
So I think for most people, what they fail to realize is muscle is heavier than fat, for one.
Yeah.
So you're going to have to find, and everybody's body is different, everybody's metabolism is different, but you have to be able to find a way to go into your caloric deficiency. I believe that's what calorie defect or deficient, one of
Mm-hmm.
those terms. Trainers, speak up because listen, I don't have all the answers. Disclaimer, we're just talking and giving motivational tips. But
Mm-hmm.
once you're able to shed some pounds, you can lose weight with nutrition alone. You don't necessarily have to work out, but working out will help expedite that process. But
Mm.
then what type of working out are you doing? Are you doing cardio focus? Are you doing weight training? Because if you're doing weight training and you're still eating, because when you start lifting weights, you're going to be heavy. When you start working out, not you're going to be heavy, but you're going to be hungry, is the word I'm looking for. You're going to be
Mm.
hungry more. So then are you eating a lot of protein? Are you eating things that are going to help you bulk up? Because then you're not going to really be able to lose or see any differences on the scale because you are now gaining muscle in the midst of shedding that fat. So it's going to
Mm.
look heavier. So I say the thing to do to keep yourself motivated is to kind of reflect on the patterns that you've been having. Are you lifting weights, lifting heavy weights?
Okay.
What are you eating? And then realize, okay, well, I may be doing things to increase my muscle. So the scale is going to look different. So then
Okay.
maybe I need to then focus on nutrition. I need to focus on keeping my nutrition in a place where I can cause myself to go into ketosis,
Mm.
which is where you're just burning fat essentially. And I'm doing cardio work. So I'm just shedding fat at this point because that's the only way you're really going to see a difference on the scale. Because if you're lifting weights and eating, you're going to just bulk up essentially. That's what you're going to do.
Protein good if you're lifting weights, like because my meal is chicken, mashed potatoes, and vegetables. So I'm trying to lose weight. So is that ideal? And I do a lot of cardio, but I also lift weights too. So am I doing the right thing? But my goal is to shed fat.
I think you're doing the right thing, but then you may have to cut out some of those carbs. It's hard for women to cut out carbs, but carbs kind of turn into sugar. It depends on if you're doing like those healthy carbs, like the potatoes and stuff, you should be okay. Rice, but it depends on the portion that you're doing. And
I'm doing
also,
mashed potatoes. Is
mashed
that
potatoes, but the amount, like, so the percentage of the mashed potatoes versus like the leafy green vegetables or the protein, how much are you doing? You know, you probably have to lessen the mashed potatoes, increase like the leafy greens and the lean protein, the meat,
okay?
to really see a difference. But most likely you're gonna have to cut as much sugar, liquor, sweet drinks. You're gonna have to cut that out, like literally.
Yeah.
You got to give yourself like a month to clean eating,
Mm-hmm.
cardio, and then your weights is going to help you burn. But you're going to be able to tell when you go into ketosis. And I think that's something for people to look out for. Because for me, I look for my body to go into ketosis. And you could tell your body's in ketosis. Sometimes you'll get like headaches and stuff like that.
Mm.
You will get they say like a metallic-y taste in your mouth or some type of different change in the way your mouth, your saliva tastes or something. And
Mm-hmm.
that's how you know you're going to be burning just fat in general. You're going to be burning it. And once you get to that point, I think you're able to maintain that for a while and you'll start seeing results. But I say always give yourself like a month, like
Month.
literally before you
Okay.
even do the scale. And you got to be honest with yourself. Like if you're sneaking sugar and stuff like that, it's going to prevent you from seeing your results quicker. That's all it's going to do. Like if you're
Okay.
sneaking any juices, candy, sugary drinks, anything like that, you're not going to see your results, honestly, because your body hasn't had time to really get into ketosis long enough to shed the weight that you're looking for. So it's patience, it's discipline, giving yourself some grace. I know at different ages in life, our metabolism looks different. You know, when you have kids, your body changes. When you get older, your body changes. The more fat we put on with just age and lifestyle, sometimes
Mm-hmm.
it's harder. That's stubborn fat, but you know, really just patience, being kind to yourself, and just being disciplined as much as possible. That's the only things that I could think of.
Perfect. Well, that's a lot of good tea. I'm definitely take some of that into consideration as well when it comes to my journey. So I appreciate that and
Of
you
course,
sharing that.
man.
I'm still like just thinking like maybe I should smaller my mashed potatoes or do I just take it out because I want results. I
I
told
say take it out. I feel like you don't really need those carbs. Like if you're
mm,
doing your carbs during the day, then breakfast, like if you're doing oatmeal and things like that. But even with like your coffee, when you're drinking the coffee, my trainer, when I was doing my fitness classes to really lose weight after all that quarantine, COVID weight was put on, it was like drink coffee with lemon juice. Like
mm,
no sugar, nothing. Yep, with lemon juice. You have to be able to do like a week of no meat sometimes, give your body time to, yep, no meat, like do a good vegetable soup and things like that for a week, do bone broth, maybe even do a juice cleanse for 3 days. Like you kind of have to be drastic to get those results really showing up initially, and then you can maintain it later on. But it's
mm,
best to go go hard, and then you can kind of trickle back once you start seeing your results. But they say you can have a cheat day or whatever. My trainer did not recommend a cheat day, maybe a cheat meal,
meal.
but
Mm,
not a full day of just doing whatever you want and stuff like that. And then if you do drink and stuff like that, shots, just liquor by itself or with tonic, shot.
yeah.
Even like if you do wine, I hear white wine is better or red. I don't know. It just depends. But even then, I wouldn't suggest doing that for like at least 1 week,
Mm-hmm.
1 or 2 weeks, honestly. But they say give it a month. I say if you give it a month, lower the mashed potato, the carbs, and things
Okay.
like that. Do more leafy green vegetables because that fiber is going to help you detox. It's going to help you go to the bathroom, do bowel movements, and things like that. If you're noticing your body doing the bowel movements like once a day, that's a good sign. At least
Okay.
once a day, and drink your water, girl. You got to drink water. Got
I'm
you.
gonna do that.
Oh, and then try to do green tea. If you do green tea once a day, that's supposed to help out a lot. It
Green
really
tea.
does. It's supposed to help your skin glow. It helps you suppress your appetite and things like that. So,
Okay, I'm gonna try that. I'm gonna get some green tea. I'm gonna try to get more leafy greens, and I have some mashed potatoes. I guess I'll finish it this week. Just little. I'll make it real little because I just made it yesterday. And then
Mm-hmm.
next week I'll try to, I don't know if I want to go on an all salad diet, just to not do meats and see if that works.
Do salad and bone broth next week.
Next week, okay.
Yeah, do salad, bone broth. Stay away from toast
Mm.
if you can. I'm not gonna say nothing, but just stay away from it. That's all I'm gonna say. Because
Yeah,
you gotta go hard so you can get these results. And you're gonna be like, man, I see it so quickly. It's like, yeah, because you cut out all those other things that are just sitting on you or turning into sugars and it's taking you longer to digest. Cut out meats, just do salads, bone broth next week, water, green tea, and then see how you feel with your working out and everything, keeping that regimen.
that's fair.
We got it. We're gonna come back and be like, girl, what's your results looking like?
Yes.
Mm,
Well, Vibe Squad, we have loaded you with a whole bunch of tea. Yeah, we want you guys to talk to us. We see you guys, vibing with us each and every week. We appreciate it. We love y'all. But share some comments. Let's talk about it. Let's talk about different topics. Different topics that interest you.
right.
Yeah, subscribe if you haven't subscribed. Comment, like, and tune in every Saturday. That's all I
Until
got.
next time.